changes as we age, especially when we're working out.
Interesting.
Right. And we've got this super helpful excerpt all about exercising heart rates
Okay.
that we're going to dive into today.
Sounds good.
Some really fascinating stuff. I think you're going to get a kick out of this.
Yeah.
We're going to uncover a really simple formula to calculate your maximum heart rate.
Wow.
We're going to break down those target heart rate zones, for different age groups, maybe
Yeah.
even yours, who knows.
All right.
And then we'll discuss why it's really important to think about your individual health conditions when it comes to all this stuff.
Yeah, this is interesting. We often think about our hearts as these steady, unchanging engines,
Right?
but they're dynamic and adapt over time.
Yeah, totally. And one of the first things that I noticed in this document was this whole concept of maximum heart rate. And there's like this almost magical formula.
Oh, really?
It's 220 minus your age.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, so simple.
Yeah, that's a handy tool. But it's important to understand that this formula offers like a general guideline.
Right.
Our bodies are so unique, and there's natural variation from person to person.
Totally.
But, it begs the question, why does our maximum heart rate tend to decrease as we age? Like, is it just wear and tear? Is there something else going on?
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, right? That things might slow down a bit over time.
Yeah.
Is it really just our heart, like, getting tired?
It's more nuanced than just simple wear and tear.
Okay.
Think about it. Your heart's not just a muscle, it's a finely tuned electrical system. And as we age, those electrical signals that control our heart rhythm, can become a little less efficient.
Oh, okay.
You can imagine the wiring getting a little less sprightly.
So you're saying our heart wiring changes. What's going on there?
Well, let's zoom in on the heart's electrical system.
Okay.
There's this small but mighty component called the sinoatrial node, or the SA node.
Okay.
And it's basically your heart's natural pacemaker, setting the rhythm for all those important beats.
Interesting.
And as we get older, the SA node can experience some age-related changes, which can impact the heart's ability to reach those high beats per minute
Okay.
that it could in our younger years.
Wow, I never thought about my heart having like its own little pacemaker.
Yeah,
It's amazing how much intricate detail there is in this one organ.
it really is.
But okay, so we've got this maximum heart rate, which is like our upper limit.
Right.
But then there's this concept of target heart rate zone.
Yes.
That this document keeps bringing up. So what is that all about?
The target heart rate zone is that range where your workout's really working for you.
Okay.
It's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing yourself enough to reap those benefits of exercise without going overboard.
Okay.
And that's where knowing your maximum heart rate comes in handy.
Got it. So it's not just about how high your heart rate can go, but finding the right range for a good workout.
Yes,
And this zone changes as we age.
exactly. This source we're looking at breaks down the target heart rate zones
Yeah.
for different age groups. And it's so fascinating to see how they shift.
Oh, interesting.
For instance, someone in their 20s, like going all out,
Yeah.
might have a target heart rate zone of like 140 to 170 beats per minute.
Okay.
But then someone in their 50s,
Yeah.
that zone might be more like 119 to 145 beats per minute.
Wow, that's a big difference.
Yeah.
So let me get this straight. If I'm trying to get the most out of my workout, I need to adjust my intensity based on how old I am.
Right. It's not one size fits all.
Okay.
It's about working smarter, not harder,
Hmm.
especially as we age.
Gotcha.
And it's not just age, Individual health conditions can also play a big role too.
Okay, so there's more to it than just age and that little magic formula.
You know what? Okay.
I'm all ears.
Okay, so let's talk about those different levels of exercise intensity.
Yes.
You hear moderate and vigorous all the time, but what do they actually mean when it comes to your heart rate?
Yeah, I see those words all over the place in every fitness article or workout plan,
Right.
but I never really know how hard should I be pushing myself.
Well, luckily, this source that we're looking at gives us some concrete numbers to work with.
Okay.
Remember that target heart rate zone we talked about?
Mm-hmm.
That sweet spot between 50 and 85% of your max heart rate?
Right. The Goldilocks zone. Not
Exactly.
too high, not too low.
Right, just right.
Just right.
So within that zone, moderate intensity exercise usually falls between 50% and 70%
Okay.
of your maximum heart rate. So think brisk walking, cycling at a comfortable pace, maybe even gardening,
Okay.
activities that get you breathing a bit heavier, but you can still hold a conversation.
Gotcha. So you're definitely working, but not completely out of breath.
Right.
Okay, so then where does vigorous exercise fit into this?
Well, vigorous exercise kicks it up a notch.
Okay.
It pushes your heart rate to that higher end of the target zone,
Okay.
between 70 and 85% of your maximum heart rate. So this is where you're really challenging yourself. Think running, swimming laps, high-intensity interval training.
Oh, okay.
You'd be breathing hard. Probably you can't really chat comfortably.
So basically, it sounds like it's all about understanding where you are in your fitness journey
Exactly.
and then finding an intensity that matches your goals.
Yes.
And these percentages help people fine-tune their workouts.
Absolutely. And if you're just starting out or getting back into exercise,
Yeah.
starting with that moderate intensity is a great way to build a foundation.
Okay.
And then as you get fitter, you can slowly increase the intensity and duration.
So you're like leveling up in a video game, but for your fitness?
Exactly. And just like in video games, sometimes you need a guide or a
Right.
coach to help you along the way.
Yeah, for sure.
So remember how we were talking about the importance of working with healthcare professionals?
Yeah.
They can be such great allies in your fitness journey.
Okay, so you're talking about more than just a standard yearly checkup, right? What can a doctor actually do when it comes to exercise and heart rate?
Well, they can help you create a truly personalized exercise plan that takes into account your age, your health history, and any medications you might be on.
Yeah.
Because remember, certain medications, like those beta blockers we discussed, can affect your heart rate.
Right.
So it's super important to be aware of potential interactions.
It's like you're getting your own little personalized cheat sheet
Yes.
tailored to your needs.
Exactly. And your doctor can also help you make sense of all the data
Oh, yeah.
because there are tons of fitness trackers and heart rate monitors out there these days.
Right.
And it can be kind of overwhelming to try and sift through all that info.
Yeah, totally. I love tracking my workouts
Right.
and seeing those graphs and charts, but sometimes I don't know what it all means
Yeah.
or what I should be doing with it.
That's where a healthcare professional can be so helpful. They can help you understand that heart rate data and make adjustments as you go.
Okay.
So they can tell you if you're pushing too hard, not enough, or if maybe something else is going on.
It's like having a personal trainer and data analyst.
Yeah, all rolled into one.
All in one.
Exactly. They're there to support you, answer your questions, and help you make the most of your fitness journey.
I love that.
So we've covered a lot today.
Yeah, we
From calculating your maximum heart rate to understanding those target heart rate zones
Right.
and how those shift as we age. We even talked about different levels of intensity
Yeah.
and how it's really important to factor in individual health conditions and medications.
Right.
It's amazing how much goes into a safe and effective workout routine.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
It really boils down to finding what works best for you,
Yeah.
listening to your body, understanding your limitations, and celebrating all that progress along the way.
I love that. Speaking of listening to our bodies, you mentioned earlier that checking in with your doctor before starting any new routine is a good idea,
Yeah.
even if you think you're totally healthy.
Right.
Why is that so important?
Because even if you feel great, there could be underlying health conditions that you're not aware of.
Right.
So it's always better to err on the side of caution, get that checkup, chat with your doctor,
Okay.
and just make sure you're starting your fitness journey on the right foot with the right heart rhythm.
I like that. I like that. And remember, exercise should be enjoyable, not a chore.
Definitely.
Don't get so caught up in those numbers that you forget to have fun.
Exactly.
Find activities you enjoy, listen to your body, and celebrate all the small victories along the way.
Well said.
This has been really helpful. We've
Thanks,
covered
Jeff.
so much.
Right.
From calculating our maximum heart rate to understanding those target zones and how they shift with age.
Right.
We even touched on exercise, intensity, individual health conditions, and medications.
It's a lot to think about,
Right.
but it's good information to have.
Yeah, totally. So before we wrap up, I want to go back to something we touched on before. Medication interactions.
Okay.
You mentioned some medications can really affect heart rate during a workout.
Yeah.
Are there any specific medications that we should be mindful of?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Aside from those beta blockers we talked about,
Mm-hmm.
there are a few other classes that can impact your heart rate.
Okay.
Like some antidepressants and anti-anxiety medications can actually increase your heart rate.
Wow. I had no idea.
That's something to keep in mind.
So it's super important if someone is taking those types of medications
Right.
to talk to their doctor before they start a new workout routine.
Absolutely. Your doctor can help you understand how those meds might interact with exercise and provide more personalized guidance.
This is so much more complex than I initially thought.
It really is.
Like it's this whole hidden world
Yeah,
that affects our heart rate during exercise.
there's a lot going on.
And the more we understand it, the better we can create that safe and effective exercise plan.
Yes.
So this deep dive has been amazing.
It's great.
We went from like a simple formula to a much deeper understanding of how our heart rate interacts with age and exercise intensity, health conditions, and even meds.
Yeah, we've learned a lot.
I'm already inspired.
Awesome.
But before we wrap up, I want to touch on something we haven't really talked about. Practical tips for monitoring our heart rate during a workout.
That's a great point. There are so many options now, from simple checks to high-tech wearables.
Right?
So we should definitely explore those in our next segment.
Okay, sounds good. Let's keep this heart-pumping conversation going. All right, so we've talked a lot about heart rate, exercise, and all that good stuff.
We have.
But let's get practical, before we rack up this deep dive.
Right.
How can we actually monitor our heart rate during a workout?
That's a great question. There's a whole bunch of options out there.
Okay.
From low-tech to high-tech. You could even go old school and just check your pulse manually.
Oh, okay.
2 fingers on your wrist or your neck, count the beats for 15 seconds.
Okay.
Multiply that number by 4,
Yeah.
and you get your beats per minute.
So easy. So easy.
Simple.
Especially if you don't have a fancy gadget or you're just getting started.
Exactly.
Speaking of gadgets,
Yes.
there are a ton of fitness trackers and heart rate monitors out there.
So many.
What should we look for?
Well, first and foremost, accuracy is key.
Right.
You want a device that gives you reliable readings.
Makes sense.
So look for ones that use optical sensors.
Okay.
They shine a light through your skin, detect blood flow,
Uh-huh.
and then calculate your heart rate.
Okay, optical sensors are the way to go.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
What else?
Well, think about what you need and what you like.
Okay.
Do you want a simple wristband that just tracks heart rate?
Yeah.
Or do you want, like, a full-blown smartwatch with all the bells and whistles?
Ooh.
GPS tracking, calorie counting, sleep monitoring.
Oh, I'm a sucker for all those extra features.
I know, me too. But it's really about finding a device that fits your lifestyle.
Right, and your budget.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And don't forget, comfort.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to be wearing this thing when you're working out.
Right.
So you got to make sure it's comfortable, doesn't chafe,
Right.
doesn't get in the way.
Comfort is key, especially when you're really working hard.
Definitely.
So let's say we've got our heart rate monitor all set up.
Right.
We're in the middle of a workout.
Okay.
We're looking at the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
How do we know if we need to, change the intensity or adjust?
Well, that's where those target heart rate zones we talked about come in.
Right.
For moderate intensity exercise,
Mm.
remember, you want to stay between 50% and 70%
Right.
of your max heart rate.
Okay.
So if you're consistently below that,
Yeah,
you might need to pick up the pace a little bit.
it makes sense.
And then if you're always above it,
Mm-hmm.
it might be time to dial it back
Gotcha.
just a little bit.
So finding that sweet spot and adjusting as needed.
Yes, exactly.
What about if we're going for vigorous exercise?
Well, for vigorous exercise, you want to push a bit more. Aim for that 70 to 85%
Okay.
of your max.
Okay.
But, even within that zone, it's important to listen to your body.
Right.
If you're feeling dizzy or lightheaded or strained,
Yeah.
don't hesitate to slow down
Okay.
or take a break.
That is good advice because it's easy to get so focused on those numbers
Yes.
and forget that our body is really the best guide.
It really is. It's all about finding that balance between pushing yourself
Right.
and knowing your limits.
So what does this all mean for the person who asked the question
Right.
about how heart rate changes as we age and with exercise?
Good question.
How can they use all this to, set their own fitness goals and routines?
Well, here's where the real magic happens.
Ooh.
They can take all of this information we've talked about,
Right.
the formulas, the target heart rate zones, the tips for monitoring, the importance of individual stuff.
Yeah.
And they can use all of that to create a fitness plan that is just for them.
Awesome.
It's like having a personalized roadmap
I love that.
for your heart-healthy journey.
And it's not about following some generic plan. Right. It's about making a plan that works for you.
Exactly. And, you don't have to do it alone.
Right.
Reach out to your doctor, talk to a fitness expert, maybe get a personal trainer.
Yeah.
They can give you guidance, support, encouragement along the way.
We have covered so much ground in this deep dive.
I know, right?
It's amazing.
It really is.
I can't believe we're already at the end.
Time flies.
But before we go,
Yes.
I want to leave our listeners with one final thought-provoking question.
Okay, hit me.
Now that you understand how your heart rate changes as you age and when you exercise, what one small change can you make today to really personalize your own fitness journey?
Ooh, what a great question.
Right.
It could be something as simple as taking a 10-minute walk every day, maybe trying a new workout class, or just paying a little more attention to how you feel when you exercise.
It's all about those baby steps, right?
Yes, little steps lead to big changes.
This has been so eye-opening, so much great info. But remember, this is just the beginning. Keep that curiosity burning, keep those heart rates pumping,
Yeah, keep moving.
and keep diving deep into the wonders of your own health. We'll see you next time.
See you later.